Back at it again, lads. 164. Yep. Read aloud. Every single time. Read aloud. Oh. I moved over one. There we go. Dude, I'm so good at this. I clicked right into the exact second that I needed. Freaking know this. Video, top and bottom. I'm trying to focus, but I can't. And I'm like, you like my oversized flannel? I do. It's one of my favorite. I lost one of my face masks. Like, how did I do that? You know? It's like, I only had them for like a year. How did I lose one? I'm trying to remember. What did I was I last wearing when I had it? And I can't. Was it coat, pants, shirt? It doesn't narrow it down. Gets all my clothes, or pants, shirt, jacket on or off, you know? You know, I have to do laundry. It's right now in the washing machine. I have to move it over. I gotta water all of these plants. I have like 30 something plants. I gotta bury some garlic that's been in our fridge for for over 10 weeks. So I need to put it in dirt. I need to maybe transplant the other ones. That plant over there is dying. I don't know why I can't take care of an arrowhead plant to save my life. Duolingo wants me to learn languages. I'm like, not right now, dude. I'm tired. You know? I did accidentally like something when I was scrolling, and now I'm like, I unliked it, but like, oh my god, embarrassing. And when I've been scrolling. Yeah, so a big thing that was going on in the Tumblr sphere, which is so funny because it's like it's something that a lot of people actually are on, but like people always talk about like, oh, we don't mention it. It's like it's its own culture and such a funny thing because it's like weird. Anyways, not the point. So on the Tumblr sphere and other places, I think it started on TikTok, but these music plants, 3 women are called the tramp stamps, but They don't have any tattoos. So, odd name. But okay. And then they're trying to be punk. I'm like, I'm punk as hell. I know you guys can't tell because I'm in my pajamas a lot, you know. Shut up. I'm punk as hell. You don't need, like, you can't pretend punk. You can't take someone else's punk ideas and make them your own. You can't, it doesn't sound right. It's not right, you know? But then, 3, 3 is the fact that they've got on, like, they could literally call themselves Tumblr girls, but then they put themselves onto Tumblr, and they got, like, I guess they quit after a few hours, which was so funny. And I'm just like, what? And I don't know, and people, they all dyed their hair at the same time, and as I'm zooming in out, their style was really authentic. People are saying a lot of other false things about them, so I don't want to say too much because I don't know what's false and what's real because I didn't look them up. I don't care. But the fact that, I don't know, just like, that's a thing where it's like you can, I don't know, it just like, especially since it's like a punk band, that it's like, how do you feel so much, like so much that you failed being punk, you know? Like, anyways, and in less than a week now, we can be risk-free in this household of just going places and just doing things because I so want to go places. My sibling really wants to go thrifting. That's their thing. They love thrifting, which I understand. So we want to go thrifting. I want to get a jean jacket. I want to put, you know, like, what I thought were very typical stances. I want to put, like, trans lives matter, Black lives matter, you know? Like, I thought my radical thought was dismantling the system, making money not a thing. You know, it's very Star Trek things, you know? Yeah, no Star Trek. No Star Trek. No money in Star Trek, you know what I'm saying? Peaceful land that the Star Trek tells us we can't be. I thought, you know, queer lives matter, trans lives matter, all of these things. I thought that was pretty typical. But, like, okay. But the fact that, like, Black lives matter, and I don't know. But, I want to get a jean jacket and just put all that there. This is for me. I don't want to just put, like, the anarchy symbol, because anarchy, I want to put stuff that I believe in, but apparently what I believe in is very radical, which is very funny because my granddad was really huge into, like, the hippie movement, where they had the same kind of ideas, where it's like, people are like, oh, it's just for drugs, but, like, they had open shops where you could drop stuff off and pick stuff up as you want. So you don't have to pay for clothes. You just go get clothes and give clothes. And it was just the shop that you can just have stuff. And people live like that apparently for a good chunk of time. No one paid for anything that was in this community. And it just is such a weird thing that it just, like, this could be reality with just a few tweaks of things. And, you know, people are like, oh, we can't just change things. Given it was a very long time ago. But, like, Korea changed their whole writing system. It proves that you can't do this. And I don't know. I mean, very, very recently, colonizers, pilgrims, came over, uh, came over and made the country, the government we know now, is all because they were going, okay, what's the best system? They were looking through a bunch of systems, found, you know, a voting system, and they went, okay, but this failed in every single place that had a two-party system. No parties. None. Definitely not a two-party system, but no party system. None. And that's exactly what we did. Very quickly, we got into parties. You're here or you're there, and then there's other people over here, but that doesn't matter because that's not one of the big two parties. And because the fact that like we made this country and we chose like these rules that are in place to revisit the Constitution, to revisit any laws after a certain amount of time, to reevaluate and retcon anything that no longer needs to be there. We haven't done that in so long. And then people forget, like, their generation is like, oh, well, it's new to us. But it's like, okay, yeah, it's new to you. But this is very, very short. It was one of those scenes that was very funny, but actually very relatable, is in a Doctor Who episode with Donna Noble. And they go into a place and she read the memorials of everyone that died in this alien war. And they're like, we've been doing this for generations. How about, like, all of my grandparents, all my forefathers, you know, they all did this for me. Why would I stop the fight here if they all sacrificed their life? And she read it and she goes, this was dated 4 days ago. And it's like, yeah, 4 days. And it's like, yeah, only 4 days. And they're like, no, 4 days. That was generations. And it's like, I guess, you know, like, in the grand scheme of things, to you, generations. For people, 4 days. And it just, like, it kind of is like one of those things that with the signing of the Constitution, it was very, very recent. America settling here was very, very recent. Everything that goes on was so recent. And I mean, the system was nothing, no system in place. And the idea that, oh, well, we couldn't change it. It's like, well, we did. We did it. We put this in place. It didn't work. Fix it. And the idea that, like, that's too radical, that's not the point. The point is I want to put stuff that I think is pretty radical. Well, no, that I agree with, that people think are very radical, which is very funny to me because, again, it's just, for me, these are just not radical. I don't think, oh, what's the most radical thing I can think of, and then think it. This is just what I think. And I mean, for those that think, you know, oh, freeing slaves and segregation and all that was so long ago, what's the point? It's just, for me, it's so, if you look at it, like, yeah, for me, from my experience, I would be like, yeah, that's so old. But if you look at it, it's not. My dad had the first black classmate in high school. He didn't have a black classmate until he was over 14, 15. I've seen pictures of, you know, like, I don't know, my cousin right now is 17, just turned 17. Imagine my cousin, who's right now, or was very recently, in a white supremacist phase. Imagine him never having a black classmate. Imagine his friend not coming out as gay to him. Imagine where he would be then. And he's already in a white supremacist phase. So it just is a very weird thing that it's just like, this is very recent with, like, my dad not having a black classmate, or because it all goes back. The lady that I think was the Ghostbusters, the black Ghostbuster lady in the most recent movie, she started it because of Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg decided to become a comedian because of Ahura in Star Trek. Star Trek was not that long ago. No, it wasn't. And my granddad would have been able to watch Star Trek when it was coming out. So the idea that it's like, oh, well, look at where we are. It's like, okay, yeah, I see 3 generations of comedians and actresses, black actresses that I've personally watched. I watched her on Star Trek. I love her. She's one of my favorite characters. Is she perfect? The character written? No. Is a lot of it perfect? No. But it's good. It holds up. Like, the idea that for me it's 3 generations of these black women actresses, but it really was only, I mean, it happened in the 60s, so 80 years ago, was the one that would be described as being like the only or the first black woman who didn't play, a maid, which, if you don't know the history, kind of a rundown, which obviously it's still a movie, it's embellished, but watch, The Help, it really was like emphasizing, like, I knew, like the quote was like, I knew I would become a maid, my kids would become a maid, because my mom and her mom, was maids until my grandmother or whatever was a slave instead of a maid. And it's not that long ago that big things were happening that we view as history. And I think people are so scared to, I don't know. I think once you're I'm okay. It's like, okay, great, you're okay. But look at everyone that's not. And even I am okay. I want to emphasize that. Like, when people are like, oh, well, I'm this or I'm that, so I'm oppressed. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not. Not in any way, shape, or form am I actively and severely oppressed. I can be trans, I can be gay, I can be, neurodivergent, but it doesn't matter that much. I don't understand something, they will rephrase the question, but for other people, it isn't, to something like, oh, I get it, you're, whatever, oh, say it again. For other people, if they are different, if they're dark, if they're black, if they're brown, people will think different things because of that. And it's just something that's needs to change. Anyways, point is, I want a leather or a jean jacket to write things on. That's pretty much it.